For many people, the American dream may be over. Now, I'm a highly ambitious person. I had visions of what success may mean to me. I've been to America twice. I do actually love America. I talk negatively sometimes because I'm talking about the landscape as it is today and the situation surrounding American politics and maybe the corruption that stems heavily over there and how they're isolating themselves. By extension, what's happening is there's like restriction of movement into America and an invasion of privacy to the point where they're making it where they may be deciding who can and cannot enter, but they're going to reach the point where people are not going to want to enter, and that's a real serious issue. Now, see, the American dream, it's almost like an idea, a notion that something remarkable could just happen because there's a lot of money in America, but a lot of the entertainment industry, more so than anywhere else, and the connections that can come and networking and all sorts. And of course, it depends on maybe your profession, what you're good at, what you're proficient at, your skills. But yeah, I'm seeing an awful lot, and I've had issues with America for a while in terms of like my faith in the country. And this is an outside perspective. Of course, it's going to be different for citizens. You're going to have a different lifestyle. You're going to have a different expectation, different norms. So something that may bother someone else may not be so bothering to someone that's used to it. So it's ideology, isn't it? For someone like myself, who I feel like free speech is just really important, and it's just being authentic and not dimming ourselves, not dealing with suppression, all these things, I just feel almost like to enter America at this moment in time, you have to almost bend to become their puppet. You can't do this, can't say that, don't behave like this, don't post this. And it's I'm not prepared to dim. I'm not prepared to dim myself for opportunity. Now, a lot of what I do, I can do remotely anyway. Like, for instance, I do the videos, I record here at home. I do my books. I can do that for any location. So a lot of what I do isn't depending on a specific location. But part of that, maybe the idea for the future, could have had me in the United States. And I do feel like partly by not traveling there or not being open to it can literally, I think, reduce your opportunities for success potentially. Um, but it is what it is. So a few videos come up, and it's talking because there's a guy on TikTok and who deals with immigration law, and he's very informative. It's very easy to understand and follow along with. And I've learned a lot, really, without even meaning to learn a lot or even searching for this. It just comes to me. So I'm sort of like, I do listen. I'd like to educate myself. So if something's interesting, um, I'll listen along, really. But I'm getting to the point where I'm falling out of love of even entering America. Like, and that's genuine. I don't know if I even want to. It's a long flight. And in all honesty, right now, I can't be asked to put myself through such an ordeal to then have to bend my knee to the immigration officials to like whatever harassment they want to provide. And you could still get declined. And it's just a lot of hassle, really. I just don't know if it's worth the hassle anymore. I just don't know. I like my country. I talk about it a lot. I do love England. There's issues in any country. I'm not going to go through the whole thing now because there's always like naysayers, negative Nancy's. And I've said it before. I think the way to narrow this down is pick a country that you think's better or nice to live at. And if you like it enough, maybe start heading towards there if you can. Personally, I'm not looking to leave the UK. I'm not looking to leave England. If a big opportunity comes, and it's like really, really a huge opportunity for me to expand my life beyond belief, and it aligns with my ideals, then I'll absolutely consider it. But I'm not prepared to lose my ideals and my freedom for money. That's not going to happen. I wouldn't be interested in that. And America at the moment is becoming really, really corrupt. And I don't like what it's representing. And I don't like the fact that I wouldn't trust being there at the moment. I wouldn't trust officials, to be honest, not to tamper with your devices. I wouldn't trust them not to remove something from your device. And I wouldn't trust them not to add something to your device. And that's how much lack of faith I have in the system over there. And I find it quite scary, to be honest. I don't deal with that here. in the UK, I don't deal with those issues, and I feel like you have to give an awful lot of yourself away to travel into America. So almost like it's easier just to avoid it altogether. It's easy just to say, no, no. There's, if you're talking about like natural beauty, there's beauty around the world. Europe's. I think Europe has great culture, a lot of heritage. Um, and for me personally, right now, I'm more than happy just to spend holidays in Europe, um, stay in the UK for the most part. And I think it's quite sad, but I think that's America is isolating itself so crazily, and it's just I can't see the logic in it, to be honest. It's just a state high on its own power, to the point where it's going to realize eventually that their power is limited because they have no influence around the world. That's what's going to end up happening. And they're going to want people with leaders. They're going to want people who can inspire. I think they're going to want people of prestige, I think. I'm not saying that's me, but I'm just saying they're going to want people entering the country eventually to prop their nation up, I think, personally, because all the great minds are left. But that's how I see it at the moment. I find it quite surreal, really, because of America's importance before. But you see the corruption, the scandals in Hollywood anyway. So the Hollywood's diminishing, the entertainment industry is diminishing, and America's influence is far eroding. So I just want to show some things, really. What I want to do is show how modest my home is at the moment, because I just want to put things into perspective. I don't posture anything I'm not. I don't try to elevate myself beyond a circumstance. By all metrics, I'm poor. I am poor, poor in financial resources. I'm not poor in mind. I'm not poor in my confidence in self. Um, like I say, I've done my books. I've done audio books. There's two other books to that. I'm currently about to start editing the next one, like really, literally today. I'm getting back with that. I'm going to do a separate video on that topic. So I'm not a stupid individual. I just to follow my dreams, it comes with financial constraints. So I want to show really my home life to show that I don't have a glamorous home, and I'm prepared to stay where I am. Very trying to think the word now. Let's just say minimal compared to a luxurious life abroad. Because the money isn't. We all want money. We all want more than we have, and definitely don't like going struggle from one moment to the next. It's not a nice feeling. Um, but at the same time, I do appreciate the fact that I do have a home. And when you think about it, people get caught up too much in material. You have a roof over your head. You have a place to call home. You have your safety. You have all these little things, and effectively, that's enough. That can be enough. Of course, we all strive for more, and we like American dream, if you like, but it's not necessary. So like for instance, someone could have a really nice home. They could have wealth, but they could be corrupt of mind. They're tampered with. Um, they're not. They can't even think straight. They're just not true or authentic to themselves. Well, I would rather have less materialism and all of my facets intact, think for myself, make my own decisions because I have the freedom to do that. I'm not corrupted by money, so I have freedom in my life. When you're corrupted by money, you lose your freedoms. So a lot of people just don't see that. So they see the wealth and they think they're doing better than you. And it's like, financially, you're doing better than me. But in your mind, you're not. It's just not. So I'm going to show the modesty that I live by. And it's frustrating to an extent because obviously I want a bigger home. Who wouldn't? So my home, let's be transparent here. My home is very cheap. It's a social housing. Now, people will have their things. So this ain't fair. Cry all you like. You don't know people's story. Um, if people want to invest in my story, they can learn about it through my books, through my many videos. I'm not going to start going down that rabbit hole. But effectively, it's a council home, which means it's rented, but it's long term and it's far more um, fair with the pricing. So for a two-bed home where I am, this home is about £450 a month rent, which is ridiculously cheap because if it was private, you'd go double. So I understand how difficult it is. There are now people that are private. They go from moment to moment. They never know if they're going to be secure. And look, I've done this in the past. I've had private renting, and it was annoying because you never know when your time is up, when you're going to have to relocate again, how you're going to fund all the relocation because it costs to be able to transport everything and the whole process with that. I know how it feels on both sides, believe me. but we all strive for more still. So, for instance, so this is my, let's do this. This is my living room. I can't be bothered to make it look perfect for the photo. So a lot of the time, this is how I am. It's a modest size. It's a modest sized living room. It's nothing. It's not big. You literally from like the corner sofa, you're right near the bloody window, and it annoys me because I like peace and quiet. You don't really get so much peace and quiet because you're located so close to the bloody wall. Um, so yeah, but I've made it as homely as I can. Of course, the telly's not on right now. The main light's on instead of the lamps. It can feel really cozy, and I like cozy, so I don't need huge space. Although, of course, I would like bigger space. But even with such a tiny, compact environment, I've still got my entertainment. I'll sit there quite cozy and comfortable. It's quite an intimate setting for me. All my physical media. I have the latest technology in terms of cable TV, like TV with the sports and everything. So I'm not really, I can't be bored in my own home. I can't be bored. You got your music, you got your movies, and you got everything in between. I've even got my retro stuff. So I've got a VHS player there. I've got a tape deck. We've got mini disc. We've got iPod. These are things that interest me, and always keeps my curiosity going. So I've got a lot of old VHS tapes as well. But that's my modest home really. Down the side here, there's like ant powder because I had I think last summer, last spring, I can't remember what it was. I had a bloody ant invasion. It was annoying as shit. They were literally running across the floor. I was like, holy crap! So I had to put ant powder down. Um, my floor is literally, oh, it's gone. Yeah, okay. So my floor is literally slanting and it's getting on my nerves. It's pulling up some of the boards now. So that's an issue I'm having with the housing at the moment is to say, look, I think this might be subsidence going on here, but they don't think it is. So I'm like, it's not normal, is it? So this is the problem you have in housing, though. You don't have the freedom or even the will to invest in it. So because of these issues, I've not carpeted everywhere. Like personally, I'd rather have carpet. I like carpet, but I'm not prepared to invest in the home to that extent to start paying all that money when I'll see where I'm up. So like because it's social housing, I know this is deviating from America at the moment. We will get over there. I'm just trying to show the disparity between like the fact that I'm more than willing to stay in a modest environment than travel over to the potential wealthy nation. Um, yeah. So anyway, like I can do a home exchange at any point. You can just decide. Like I can decide to relocate around the country, the UK. For instance, if someone wants my home and I want their home, we can do a swap, or you can do a multi swap. Maybe someone wants my home, I want someone else's home, and you literally between each other figure it out. It's complicated, but you could do those things, So you're not just bound. Um, so that's that. My bedroom is limited. Like it's literally where I am now. So literally right now, I've got the green screen. So that you'll see in the image that it's to the side. All right, we ain't getting it. I thought we'd get it. Oh, yeah, go. So my bedroom's quite modest. You've got this. It's annoying. I've had to make my own temporary desk situation here because I want something stable. It's a very modest setup, to be totally honest. Over here to the right is my green screen, all folded away as best I can, and then I have to get it out and then straighten it out, and it all goes behind my desk chair there. So we got a better setting. Hence the image here. So when we look at this background, it's literally just me with a green screen. Oh, you probably can't see it. Yeah, okay. So you can see it moving because I'm doing. So if I start opening it up, yeah, it does its thing. But then I have to sort of like do that. And then it just looks like an image. Pretty cool. Very basic, but it does the job. So reality is, yeah, there's better environments. It'd be nice to have a bigger space. But when you look at the quality of the video, for instance, I think it's fine. So in terms of video production, I can do it in a modest sized room. You don't need nothing fancy to create. I can do it. I can literally do my work in a cave as long as someone could give me a plug socket every now and again to charge a laptop to do my books. What do we need? That's the thing. That's sometimes where you got to get to. It's like, what do you genuinely need? The photos may look worse than they are. In all honesty, this ain't ideal to have a desk next to your bed. Of course, I'd love the bedroom to be a pure bedroom, and I'd love to have a study room where I can literally do my work. But unfortunately, we don't all have that luxury, do we? So my room is the lighting looks brighter here. But like for instance, if I want to watch TV in bed, I've literally put it on the wall above the thing. I have the radiator on very low, so people might think you can't have a telly above there. I've had telly on there. I've been here 4 years. I've never had a problem with a telly above the radiator. But I don't have the radiator on high. I don't need to because the electronics in the room make the room hot anyway. But yeah, it's cozy enough, to be totally honest. You don't sort of look, if I want to watch telly in bed, for instance, you don't notice all the other stuff to the side, really. And it looks cluttery worse than it is. But once you sit there, like for me now, sitting here, it feels far wider than it looks in the image. But I just want to show people really that I'm not someone that pretends one thing and I have more than I have. It's like, this is what I have. But it's like, you know what? Some people would love to have what I have. In the same way, it'd be nice to have something bigger for myself. But you know what? I have a home and it's affordable. So that gives me, I guess, a freedom. So let's go over to America now. So now think about it. I'm in this situation based on the fact that, for instance, I've done my books and things, and it's like, this would be nice if I started to get growth now and real big opportunities come. I think I deserve it. So where could that opportunity be? What can life be like? How will it all happen? Who knows? Who knows? But it may not happen in America, for instance. It may not happen in America. I'm not saying it won't, but right now I have my reservations. Now, I've been talking for a while, even before this, of having two phones. I'm thinking of having two mobile cell phones, one for home, one for out and about. Because to be honest, your phone can get stolen. In all honesty, I don't think it's worth risking. It's not being cowardice. People are just stupid about material things. It's not worth risking your life for something that can be replaced, and that's just sensible. It's just stupid. Your pride might get hurt. But the problem is, too many of us carry our life in our pocket. Our mobile cell phones, they carry so much data and so much of our personal information and so much of our security, whether it's your banking, whatever it is, it's all on that device and you're freely walking around with it, vulnerable. Now, personally, what I'm thinking of doing is get another phone and keep the main data phone, the phone with most of my things on it that I really, really need, keep that at home, hidden away, because you never know, again, security risks and things. I'd hide it. I'd find somewhere to place it that I know where it is all the time. If there was ever an issue at home, it's less likely to get taken. That's what I'm thinking. It's stupid you have to live like that, but that's how I'm starting to think. And then I have a phone that's very limited when I travel, when you're out and about. Like, you don't really, for the most part, depending on what you're doing, of course, for the most part, you might not need to have access to your emails, for instance. Do you need it? Do you need that? Because that's compromising. If you had another phone, maybe make a brand new, if you're on Apple, for instance, or even on Android, just make a brand new Apple account or Google account. And so it's not even attached to your main phone. So then nothing gets transferred over, because some people connect two. If you've got two phones, they connect it. And of course, once it phones one, it can phone both. And it's just like, that just defeat it. Yeah, it's good synchronization, but I think in terms of security, it's not ideal. And the reason I say all this is I've been thinking about this before, and now it's gonna match perfectly with this situation coming from America now. So, what you need to know about phone searches at U.S. airports and border crossings, effectively, like the border force in America now. Well, I don't know if they've had it in the past, but I've never had a problem the 2 times I've been to America. They can search your phone. They can literally have access to your phone, and they can attach devices to it. And that's what I'm saying. First of all, they could take your phone contacts. Who knows what they're looking for? They could take your phone contacts. They could delete content from your phone. Who knows? If they've got access to your phone and do anything, they can probably close all your social media if they really wanted to. Delete everything. Or they could add stuff on there that you never had just to set you up for something. That's some risky as shit. I don't trust it at all. I don't trust it. That's how bad. I don't trust American officials. So let's listen.
Is checking your phones and laptops and tablets at the border, at the airports when you come in from an international flight. Sometimes they just take your phone and start looking through it. Sometimes they put some external equipment with some fancy cords and download stuff off your phone. What an obvious invasion of privacy. But if you're a visa holder and refuse, you may not be allowed into the United States. And unfortunately, your rights are limited at the border, simply because you haven't entered the United States and the U.S. Constitution only applies in the United States, not out of it. But here are a couple things you can do to protect yourself. Travel with a dedicated travel device, not your real phone. Back up important files before you go and take it off your phone. Make a really long password that nobody will ever guess, or two-factor authentication, because you're not required to share your password. But if you refuse to share your password, they could take your phone away from you and still not allow you into the country. U.S. citizens only have to give their identity and travel details, but their phones can be taken away too, and certainly going to be delayed at the airport. Green card holders are somewhere in the middle. they'll have more scrutiny. Sign out of important apps, limit cloud access, even try to encrypt your device. If your phone is taken, try to write down everything that happens. Try to get the names of the CBP officers who are delaying you and reviewing your personal information, and always remain calm. Don't argue, don't get in anybody's face, not helping anything. You'll lose that argument every time.
It's absolutely wild, isn't it? It can even take your phone away. It's crazy. Now, anyone that argues with any of this, like in terms of like the this being real, this guy is great. I've seen him so much on TikTok. I've learned about all the visas, different visas you'd require if you entered America. So he knows what he's talking about. Um, so that's that one, and I just think that's absolutely bizarre. The fact that they could even take your phone away, and like I said, it's a long flight anyway. To have this hassle, is it even worth it?
Get ready to share all your social media handles with the
And this got me thinking. This is about like the border force having the ability to check your social media profiles, and immigration and things. And I just think it's such an invasion of privacy. So even if you made, like he's making in here, if you make it private, it won't be enough. You literally have to deactivate your profiles. That's what you would have to do. And some people have multiple accounts, and and literally saying if you was to miss any out when they ask you your social media, you can get denied entry because you false representation. But it's like everybody knows every account they've ever had. Some are dormant. It's crazy. And this is just reaching too far. Sometimes I get like this, even if it's a job application. Even if it's a job application and they sort of like send you round in a loop. Let's say you've already applied with your CV resume, and then they send you a message to email or something, and it says right to the next that we've invited to the next stage. But the next stage is you going through a whole application form again, submit your CV again with a load of other questions. It's like, oh, piss off. I don't have patience for that. You're sending me in a loop. I find it disrespectful. You're wasting my time, and I'm not wasting my time. I'll go somewhere that doesn't do that. And this is my issue with America at the moment. We're seeing the corruption in politics, but now they're making it incredibly hard just to enter the country. And it's making me go, I don't want to enter. I don't want to come.
Immigration Service. Maybe even be friends with the immigration officer interviewing you. For every person who's filing an adjustment, a visa petition, a change of status, asylum, removal of conditions, almost any benefit, you are going to have to start to list all of your social media handles. It's coming down the pike in the next 90 days. And if you don't mention all your social media handles and it's discovered, denial for misrepresentation. They're going to use this information to figure out if you're in a bona fide marriage, to figure out fraud, security risks. And if you think by making your social media handles private, they won't see, that's a good bet. This is the U.S. government. They can see whatever they want.
Of course they can, because they do whatever they want. I just think they're clowns. I do. I'm sick of it. Yeah. It's almost like they feel everyone's desperate to enter, and they try to make it hard or complicated for the privilege. And it's like some of us just like we don't really care. I don't really care about coming anymore. Like going to America now. It's like that's fine. We all have image of our future. I just wondered like, is that my future? I always had. I absolutely love it when I do visit. So it's not like an anti-America thing in terms of like the culture. It's more the politics and the corruption that exists all the way through to police. If you're targeted, you're targeted, and they'll find ways to corrupt the shit out of a situation, don't they? And you think, is it worth it though? Like, you don't have this problem in the UK. You just don't. But there's a potential for it, of course. But I don't get this problem in the UK. I don't worry about anything being manipulated and shit. It's not devious like America. It's crazy as shit. It really is. It's giving me a headache. This one's just a little bit interesting.
Filling in a US Esther with...
God, she's giving me a headache. Some people are so loud. It's unnecessary, isn't it? Effectively, this is the whole. I want to just show this because I don't know if the UK has the same issue. Like, if people may have a similar issue if they enter the UK? I don't know. But I just find all this bureaucracy, all this admin, it just drives me nuts, and it makes me go, I can't be arsed. I just can't be bothered. I don't want to do any of this shit. I don't. And I don't care. Like I said, I've got a modest home. I've got a modest life. I don't have a lot of money. I couldn't give a shit. I've survived up to this point. If you look at me, I got my faculties intact. It's okay to struggle financially. It's not the be all and end all. It doesn't define us. Although for some people it probably does because they want to judge you based on it. Again, don't care less. Don't care. I'd rather have my freedom. That means more. Freedom is priceless. So anyway, let's have a little look. I'll try and turn the volume down at my end because she's going to give me a headache.
Which is their visa waiver when you don't know where your first night's accommodation will be. When you apply for the ESTA, there's a question that says, put in the address of where you'll be staying. But often you would apply for your
ESTA. So you do need the ESTA even if you just enter in America as a tourist. So this is the shit you got to go through. I don't know if you have to do that in other countries.
Before you potentially book your travel, just in case it gets rejected for any reason. So you might not know where you're going to stay, but it doesn't matter. The chances are you're going to know roughly where you might want to stay, or if you've got your eye on a holiday or something, you might know where. So I would put that address in when you apply for the ESTA. And then once it's been approved, you've booked your travel, then you can go back onto the main ESTA website. And then if you look up here, it says check ESTA status. And then you go on, if you've done it for yourself, the individual application, and you can log back in with your application number and then your passport number and your date of birth, or there's a couple of other questions that you can do too, and then you click on retrieve application. Once you've got through that page, it then comes up with a page where it says it's been approved, and then like your application number and your passport number will be listed with it saying approved. When it expires, I've obviously blanked some of my details out, but then there's a button here that says update, so click on that, which brings up your address while in the USA. This is where I stayed the last time I had my ESTA. And then you literally just change the address and then hit update. And then it's all done and ready to go. So this is similar with another question that I got asked, because the ESTA is valid for 2 years. So what happens if you go back within the 2 years? Because you're probably not going to be returning to exactly the same hotel. So same thing again, you can log back into the ESTA. And if I was to go back to the USA anytime within the next year and a half-ish, you can then simply just update your details and then go on the update button.
That's a lot of faffing about, isn't it? I understand from an immigration point of view, they want to know where people are staying so they can obviously trace them and keep track of everybody that's entering the country. But it's a lot of pissing about. You know, it's like, if you're not where you say you're going to be, it's like, I don't know what the policy is around that. And if you forget to update something, it just seems to me that everything's just ready to be declined, and I can't be asked to go through the process of being declined. I've never sought to impress anyone. That's the thing. I've never lived my life by that. So the idea that I have to do this, I have to do that, and then I'll be accepted. It's like, I don't give a shit about being accepted though. I don't want all this crap. I just want to eat. I just want a normal life that's functional. I don't want to go through all these hoops, and then they may be expected to behave this way, to behave that way. It's like, you're not going out to cause trouble. You're just being yourself. And maybe you've got an opinion, maybe they don't like, but now it's a problem. It's like, oh, piss off. Go away. I don't care. So to be honest, in my lifetime now, I may never visit America again. In all honesty, I don't know. I always thought I would. I thought potentially I may even live there at some point. You never know the potential for anything. At the moment, I don't even think I would enter. It's doing me head in. It really is. I'm getting fed up seeing the chaos that's coming from there, and then I see all the bureaucracy and the hoops to go through, and it's like, I can't be asked anymore. I've just lost interest, in all honesty. Like I said, I can do what I do remotely. I can do what I do here. I'm okay in England. I like England. But we'll see where life takes us, of course. But I just think while this Trump administration is in charge, I just think he's just an absolute nightmare, and he's crazy. You've literally got a convicted felon. I don't know if it's felon, let's just say, but I'm going to say that. Anyway, I don't know. But we all know he's got a criminal record now. But because he's a president, he can legally enter all the different countries as the president, pretty much. But if he wasn't president, he may not even be able to travel to those countries, because countries are very, very strict on people with criminal records entering their country. So I find that quite curious that when he's no longer president, would he still be free to travel? Because he's making all these complications for other people to enter his country. What if he ever wants to leave America? Curious, isn't it? But yeah, a lot of countries follow suit. So you always get one that leads and others follow. And the trouble is, it just sets an example for the freaking rest of the world to start copying his crap. Yeah. Anyway, is the American dream over? I think so.